Alright guys, so for today's project, we want to get the box securely mounted to the boat. So first of all, well actually what I'm going to do is I just got to get some measurements inside the box here. You can see the mounting holes down there, and then there's there's 6 that go through this bottom plate. So those are all certain length, and then there's 4 on each side, they're a little bit shorter. And then there's some more, there's a couple, or yeah, 2 that go through this top plate, one there, one in the other corner. So we're gonna get those all measured up. And then get these ones measured up, these measured up. And then we can go inside, drill a few more holes. We're going to do, instead of 1/4 inch, we're going to do 5/16 for all the ones that go like the circle of the hole. Those will all be 5/16, and then all the top bigger bolts at the top up in this area will all be 3/8 stainless steel. And then down here, when I'm done mounting, getting all the right lengths, I can go and get some bolts, and then we'll take the box off and we will cut out, as you can see how the drain plug hits there. So basically we're just going to, now that the glue's pretty much probably dried, we're going to cut out this little section right in here, just so you can get that drain plug out easier. There should be enough room there to get it out, in and out, no problem. And then take the box off and probably just put a little bit more glue in some of these cracks. Mind you, that'll all be filled with fiberglass. There's no point in buying another bottle of glue for that. But other than that, that's what project is for today. And get this thing on and then get that motor on there. Put a plate. We'll put some sort of spacers here just to build that up a bit. Once the fiberglass is on there, and then we get about that 1/4 inch aluminum plate to wrap right around there for the boat, or the motor, to hang off of it. And that should be good, just to mimic the thickness of this plate, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the plan here is just to mimic the right thickness for our plate. We've got it bolted on tight enough, secured inside the box, and up here with these bolts, just have to tighten up a little bit. Did you get the picture? And then we're going to put these turnbuckles, we're going to pick the motor up, hang it onto this, keep the weight on the tractor with some slings or whatever, and then just mimic what we want to do with our turnbuckles, whether we're going to use stainless or galvanized or what, we're not sure yet, but we might put the turnbuckles here, or we might put the turnbuckles up to here to our bolts. For now, we're just going to use mechanics wire to make the link, connecting link between the two. Just use like 5 or 6 wraps. Should be strong enough to mimic a little bit of a chain link. We'll get the proper turnbuckles later, but we just want to get the motor hanging off of here so that we know exactly what it's going to feel like and look like as far as weight goes, and any sort of torque on the back of the box here. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll get the proper links, whether it's turnbuckles or wire rope or whatever. It's probably stainless steel. Okay, here we go. We're dropping the weight of this bad boy 90 horse Mercury tower power onto this box. We got her just kind of haphazardly bolted up in here. We haven't drilled any of the main mount bolts yet, but we got the strut bolts on. And then we're going to probably just put these turnbuckles from here to here somehow for now. See how it works. So yeah, let's let her down. It's already loose. Oh yeah, check that shackle out. We made sure we brought the right one for the job. Can't remember what size shackle this is, but we made sure we use the proper shackles around here. Definitely you can tell we're crane operators. I think this is what, like a 12.5 ton? 15 ton? 12.5, I think. Whatever. So that's it, she's on there.
The save balance is just enough room to get these things out.
So if we actually lower it, we won't be able to get them out, probably.
No.
But I don't know, maybe that's fine.
The motor moves away as you lower it.
Yeah, no, as you lower it, but if we drop the motor down, we're going to hit the thing and we won't be able to get those latches up.
As the motor away, it moves the motor closer, actually.
Yeah, so anyways, that's what it's going to look like. You probably drop her down and see what it looks like down, eh? Hasn't ripped off yet. Thank God. So the height we're looking for is anti-ventilation plate is right here. We want to get this height in line with the bottom of the boat. Right now it looks like it's a little bit higher, maybe an inch, inch and a half, I'm guessing, but anywhere between, I've read 0 to like 3 or 4 inches. The higher up it is, the more performance you're going to get.
Is the motor far enough this way? Like, does it go down far enough? That's what...
Well, what do you mean? Sure, it's fine.
Like, I don't know if your boat motor's supposed to sit...
Well, most of the boats I've seen in the...
It's pretty level like that, right?
I don't know. We'll find out when we put it on the water.
Yes. Maybe that would be a good idea.
Motor mounted up here again. We just had to trim a little bit off the top. 3/4 inch. Our anti-ventilation plate is now 4 inch higher than the bottom of the boat, which is what I was aiming for. And it's about 1 inch, Kevin? Yeah. 1 inch with the bottom of the boat, and then lower than 1 inch and a half or so, maybe inch lower than that. You can study for yourself how high the ventilation plate is supposed to be depending on what type of boat you have. Okay, so now that we have the boat, or the motor on the boat, we're gonna adjust our trailer, because I bought this trailer off my neighbor for 500 bucks. And basically in really good shape, but it needs to be adjusted for the boat, and then obviously the weight of the motor on the back of the boat. So we rolled the boat forward as far as we could, and as you can see, it's off the rollers a little bit here. But what I'm gonna do is just take that roller off, the bracket off, and just flip it around so the roller's up in that area. And that one's still catching the middle of the back, which is perfect. And then the rest of the rollers are great. And then we can also move, we're gonna move this front post forward 4 inches. That'll give us a little bit extra. Right now, it's pretty light on the front end. You can pick it up with one hand, so. But we don't have a fuel tank in there yet, and the fuel will mostly be, it'll all be, if it's full, all be in front of the front axle, or in front of the axle. But if it's half emptied, it'll be all kind of right over the axle, because the tank ends right in this area, right? Tank. So a little bit of adjusting to do, but it should work out perfect. We'll let you know how it goes. Okay, today is Good Friday. I have basically just a couple little things on the go here. Gonna spend some time with the family today to celebrate the Good Friday and Easter weekend, and give some glory to God for everything that He does for us that's good, which is a lot of stuff. So thank you for that, Lord. And yeah, basically what I'm going to do here is, got these 3/8 stainless steel eyelets. So we're trying to figure out where's the best place to put these. We're figuring from down in this area, we're going to put another piece of 3/4 inch plate across here, screw it onto there just to add that little bit of thickness. Instead of putting aluminum channel, we might still put some sort of metal cap on it, but for the most part, I think we're just going to do fiberglass over, that would be 2 1/4 inches. We got the back mounted up. All stainless steel bolts, except for these 2 carriage bolts. The rest are stainless inside and out, pretty much. These 2 eyelets down here go through the box, same as this one. On the inside of the box, we're going to hook up another turnbuckle like that one, except longer. Inside the box, which will come down from like that angle down to the bottom inside to secure the bottom of the boat to the inside of the box, or inside of the, or sorry, the bottom of the box to the inside of the boat. And then this one here, so this will be where it is. We just have to chase some more threads onto there just so we can lock that in a little tighter. And we're going to take this eyelet and put it up to here, which goes through our angle iron channel. We tried it up here, but it seems to be putting a little too much flex because of this pivot point here. So the weight pulling down is trying to flex this like this. And we actually notice it starting to pull the silicone apart here a little bit. Now it's actually like reefing on the back of the engine with it secured to here, pushing up and down, bouncing it up and down, and it started to separate a little bit there. So we'll just re-silicone that in, and we'll put these anchors down in this area, which is, these are just through this 3-inch washers. So there's a ton of flex up there and a lot of leverage up there. It's a bad place for the fulcrum point to be pivoting on. So it'll be going through these holes right there, those eyelets, just like this one, except we're going to move out to this location so we have a little more space between here, and then it'll be way stronger here than from up here, and we're hoping that'll take care of that flex that's there. Again, that's from just reefing on the engine, so pretty sure it'll be all good, but we just have to get that all fitted, throw all the bolts on, make sure everything fits good, and then take the whole engine back off, take the box off, fiberglass it, fiberglass the floor, and then put it all back on permanently. And then hopefully she don't fall off in the water. But seeing as how today is Good Friday, we're gonna have to do some dirt biking. It's a good day to get out on the old KTM 500 EX. No, not EX. I used to have an EX-ER 530. This is an XEW 500. Trying to get out at least a little bit. There's no snow in the field, but I won't be riding in there because it's just going to tear up my brother's hay. So I'm going to go into the trees back there, see if I can get through the snow. So there we go. Huh? What the heck's going on here? Oh, you got a bike too. Oh, okay. You can't get around or what?
Wait, let me do one of these.
Fire it up and just spin that back tire, buddy. Anyways, we're gonna go out and have some fun on the bike, seeing as how God has blessed us with these awesome gifts. We can't complain. We got absolutely zero to complain about. And hope you guys are all having a great Easter weekend. Talk to you soon. Okay, so here we have these rings for hooking to our turnbuckles, but the problem is the threads aren't long enough. We need them to go down to here because we need them to bottom out into the transom. So I'm using my tap and die kit here. If you haven't got one of these already, this is an amazing tool. It's got all kinds of different thread sizes and bolt sizes, like shank sizes, 1/4 inch, all the way up to 1/2 inch. And different, and metric and standard. So you just put that in your vise, and you just go like this. Use a little bit of this tap oil. You want to go back and forth just so your threads clean out a little bit. And you just keep going like that all the way down to the bottom. You're not going to get a perfect thread because it's not. I load up a little bit with the thread that's dripping off, but if you chase it a few times, they're good enough. You can still tighten it, and these are not what mount the machine to the boat. They're just kind of a middleman, anchor point. But they do they do serve a purpose. You can see the thread in there. Sometimes you gotta take it right back off. Grab a pair of pliers. You can basically make your own thread. That's what I'm doing. Rip this out so you destroy everything. A little bit of damage there, but we'll see. Let's get it all the way off. Now, as you can see, my threads are all the way down to the end. It's not the nicest looking thread, but once you get all that crap out from inside there, the threads, you put it back in there and clean it up a few more times. And it's good enough to just lock a jam nut. That's all we want it for. So that we can put this through, right? This will be the inside plate of the boat. Turnbuckle pulls here. And then we have, it'll be up about here, and then there'll be a jam nut on the inside here. Basically all that is doing is keeping it nice and snug from moving around. But once you pull on it with the turnbuckle, this is pulling this way, and that's going to be pulling from the other side. Same thing, it's going to be pulling that way. So there'll be really no pressure or anything on this nut or washer. It'll be on the other side of the plate, from this side, this nut. But this just keeps it nice and snug and it looks pretty. And for installation purposes, it just makes things a little easier. And these are good for cleaning. Obviously, they're good for cleaning bolts or studs. Like, say you had an exhaust manifold stud that you didn't want to try and pull out of the exhaust manifold because it would break. You can use this, and it was damaged, you couldn't get a nut on, you could use something like this to clean it up. Any type of bolt, metric or standard. Definitely a handy tool. And then you have what's called a tap as well. This is for tapping the nut. So you basically put it into the nut. If the threads of your nut are damaged, this will just clean the thread, because this is really hard steel, so it cleans the thread. Gives you a little more life out of what would otherwise be a garbage bolt or nut. Especially if it's one that's rusted on, or something like a stud that's rusted in, or you know it's going to break. Or a nut that's kind of specialized and you only have one of them, and you've got to get something out of the bush or whatever, and you only have that one nut to get the job done. Use this kit. It's not perfect, but it'll work. Okay, all my YouTube homies, just want to give you a little bit more of a progress report. It's the end of, pretty much the end of the night here on Good Friday. Kevin and I got the pod very securely mounted to the boat. Obviously we still need glass, but we got all of our hardware on. We still have a couple bolts that we got to get, because there's, you can see the ones with the nuts there, they're too long. We just got to trace the threads a little longer. But other than that, everything's pretty much done how we wanted it. So we got a lot of support on the inside. We got these turnbuckles here on the outside. So these are super tight. Those go right through the cylinder, the trim cylinder bracket. And then there's also some inside the box right here. Those eyelets that I was showing you earlier, they go through here as well. So that holds the bottom of the engine plate to the transom plate. And then inside, I'll show you. So inside we got these turnbuckles. Right, similar to what's on the outside. So if you look inside, sorry about that. Basically, just go to those eyes, and then this side. Get in here, sorry. We got all the mounting bolts. Everything is stainless steel, except for a couple nuts here and there, but. And then we've got the eyelets up there, so our turnbuckles are all nice and secure. Everything's super tight. And then outside here we have all these bolts. Like I said, everything's stainless. That's all going to be fiberglass. So, and then we just got to get 3 more bolts for up top there. I didn't quite have enough of the bolts I needed, but nothing's really hanging off that. It's all the top, all the weight of the motor is anchored to these turnbuckles, and those go right through to the angle iron, the top angle iron there. And then, so that's all really nice. And I showed you the other day how this, right in this area yesterday, or sorry, this would probably be the same video, but right in here, when we first had this mounted on, it wasn't, all the hardware wasn't on, and we had these turnbuckles up to this part of the plate, but that was, I was showing you, it was too much flex here on this pivot point, so we decided to move them down to these bolts, which is into the plate, which creates more of a surface area behind to pull against, rather than just trying to pull the top of this existing transom and fold it out, because there was no support up there, right? Not like the angle irons. There's 2 top holes in that area there is where they were. So when we were reefing on the engine like this, going like basically like this, you could see it flexing right in here. And this boat is not designed for this type of setup originally for manufacture, but we realized that, and we tried to do the best we could to compensate with these turnbuckles, and then the ones inside as well. So the ones inside are going down at an angle like this and like that, and then the 2 top ones, you can obviously see those. So basically kind of like have it anchored on the top and the bottom of the box, and then these 2 are the main engine plate bolts. You can see right there. So those basically anchor the boat. It doesn't really hang on this top part of the plate. It bolts to it, and then these are same angle as these 2 bolts. So it's pulling from the same place that these 2 main ones are. So it gives it that strength, and then should be enough. Like, you can reef on this thing pretty good, and there's no... Here, Kev, can you shake that thing? Just to show people what's... Like, you can see how stiff that is. There's very, very little flex, if any flex. Once we get the glass on there and we'll see if there's any stress fractures, then that's a better way to see whether or not there's too much flex, and then you can just reinforce it however you have to. You can see in here, before this was opening up like 1/8 of an inch. Now when he does it, it doesn't open up at all. And what we're gonna do with this is, if you can see inside there, that seam right there, all the way across, it's basically just riveted from the outside underneath this black stuff. And this stuff's really easy to peel open. So we'll just do that, drill out all the rivets, and we'll put an aluminum C-channel from Princess Auto. You can get like 45 bucks for, I think, a 4-footer or maybe a 6-footer. We'll put that along the rivet seam and just probably put bolts. So that'll displace all the weight as well right across on the seam, so there won't be basically no flex in here whatsoever, even though we've already transferred it down to here anyways. So we're hoping that's going to be good. So basically now we're going to take the engine back off, take the box off, fiberglass it, do all that fiberglassing stuff, remount it all up, and then run the cables, and then we'll just finish our interior real quick just to see if we like the boat on the water, and hopefully have it out next week. Hope you like the videos.